We back once again. It's your boys, no jobbers allowed, and we coming at you again with another Raw review show. And this time it's the Raw right after WWE Survivor Series. So like always, I'm your boy Big Ish, and with me like always on the mic is...
Man, it is your guy Irwin, and we're coming at you with the Raw review this week. And I'm going to start this off by saying I did not really enjoy Raw, so I may be what Ish calls a curmudgeon. I might be a Grinch this week, but we're going to get after it.
All right, bro. You know what it is. You set us up, I knock us down. So go ahead and get us into the first part of Raw this week.
So, we start out Raw this week with, Baron Corbin and pretty much Stephanie McMahon in the ring. And they're pretty much bragging about how, Raw get the clean sweep on Survivor Series. And side note on that one, they just didn't count the pre-show, I guess, right?
Don't worry, we're gonna talk about that in the SmackDown review.
They're they're doing their thing, and then out comes Braun Strowman. Pretty much what I think this segment is, as far as it goes. It's like Survivor Series didn't matter. They were supposed to give Corbin, if he got the clean sweep, they were supposed to get. He's supposed to be the new general manager of Raw, not the acting general manager of Raw. And Braun Strowman was supposed to get what he wanted, but in the end, they just pushed all this over to TLC. So that's what this synopsis was, or that's what the synopsis of this is. It's really, they had a segment which led up to a match where it was Braun Strowman, Finn Balor versus Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, and Baron Corbin. What's your take on this first segment that happened?
Well, once again, it was just a way for WWE to extend the storylines that they have because of all the things that have been changing. Once again, we knew she said he was supposed to be upgraded from acting to permanent if he did a clean sweep. They did. But for the sake of the show, you got to push it on forward. So for the sake of our show, we got to push it on forward into the match.
Yeah, so, we had this elimination match. We had Braun Strowman, Elias, and Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley. And, this was a elimination match, so I guess they were keeping the theme going. And I did not mind it, man. I actually liked it a lot. I like the stuff between Finn Balor and Drew McIntyre. They're, really trying to hurt each other, which is actually... pretty cool in my mind. And this match pretty much ended where they're putting Braun Strowman on the shelf, where they had a spot at the end of the match where they actually drive the steel steps through Braun's elbow, and he has some blood over there. And at the end he said he can't move his arm. What did you think about this first segment or this first match?
I thought the match dragged on pretty long, which made me believe they didn't have anything really of interest booked. Even for a 3-hour show, you make this one about 45 minutes, almost a whole hour.
It was the first hour of SmackDown almost. I think it took up the first 55 minutes.
So that just leads me to believe that you most likely didn't have anything really good booked. And we're going to get to the rest of that for the show. All in all, the match was enjoyable. I will not front and act like we didn't see some good work from the fellas, especially the almighty Bobby Lashley. But
Lashley.
I loving this heel turn by Lashley and them, dog. So, and of course you got the 24-year-old piece of gold doing his mic work. So shout out to Leo Rush. So I enjoyed the match. I thought it ran on pretty long, which made me realize that the rest of the show wasn't going to have much to do about anything, and it didn't. But we gonna give it to you the rest of it, and you listeners can decide what you thought about it. So the end was Lashley, Baron, and Drew McIntyre just utterly destroying and manhandling Braun Strowman, which we find out at the end of the show, they said Braun Strowman has a shattered elbow, which means most likely Baron Corbin is going to become the elbow shatterer.
Yeah.
Tag elbow shatterer.
Dude, man, they love shattering stuff, man. which I don't. Is Braun injured? Like, I thought he was working through some blown out knees, or I thought I read something like that. What
And
did?
that's what I heard originally, like 3 count bout or somebody, and maybe even Wrestle Talk may have said like before Crown Jewel he had some blown knees and was going to be sidelined for a bit, which is why the booking at Crown Jewel ended the way it did, because Brian couldn't really handle an extended match. But if you look at Survivor Series and you look at last night, he looked pretty good to go to me. So I don't know if the rumors are that true or how much water those rumors hold. So, but yeah, listeners, that match ended with Bobby Barron and Drew McIntyre getting it in on Brian and creating the angle that Brian is not going to be ready for TLC, which is, I think, December 16th or something like that. It's very close. So let's go ahead on to the next match, bro, because I want the listeners to get kind of what we feel about the rest of the show.
Definitely. The next we have a segment. It's where Seth Rollins is out there, and he's he kind of cuts a pretty heartfelt promo on Dean Ambrose. I thought it was good. What'd you think about it? The first part of his promo before Dean Ambrose came out.
Bro, this is where I become a curmudgeon, because sometimes people promos just get on my nerves. Like, it's too much talking by people who not really holding my attention span captive. And that's exactly what happened with the Seth promo. It didn't get interesting until the Meadow promo being cut by Dean happened.
Yeah, man. Once Dean came on, he was he was spitting some fire, man.
And I like Seth. Don't get me wrong. I truly enjoy Seth, and I enjoy what he does on the mic. But I've been getting bored. Whoever been writing these promos lately been doing it, instead of thinking about the actual wrestler's character, they've been thinking about how to move the storyline. And when you do that, you drop some authenticity that you can have.
It's very scripted.
Especially like Seth, you can write something for him, but allow his character to take it over. And they didn't do that. So that's why I was I've been getting very bored with some of these promos until Dean picked up the slack on it with his Meta promo.
Yeah. So Dean gets on. He's firing back. He says some pretty harsh stuff, even about Roman Reigns and his battle with leukemia. And eventually this turns into Ambrose saying, I'm in the back. Come find me. And then pretty much for the rest of the show, we have kind of a hide and go seek between Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose.
Can we talk about that for a second?
We can.
People say, "Oh, it's harsh what he said about Roman," but like a lot of people say, the Attitude Era is one of their favorite eras. What I remember, I was still young during the Attitude Era, but what I remember looking back on it, especially following 90s WWE on Twitter, I'm starting to realize a lot of stuff was said in the Attitude Era that you guys say you love, but when it shows some remnants or small instances where it gets brought back up in this PG era, y'all condemn it and get offended by it.
And don't get me wrong, I think everything is on. So I didn't think that it was in bad taste. I just think that, in this era, they don't really run with that, and which is why I've been a little bit shocked. Again, I love it. I love the controversy. Again, I'm a product of the Attitude Era, and in the Attitude Era, nothing was off limits, which is what made it so entertaining.
And I'm not even saying the people who are offended by it are wrong or too sensitive. I'm just saying, want what you want.
Yes.
Like, y'all say y'all want Attitude Era back, or at least some vestiges of the Attitude Era back, and when you get that, y'all calling foul on it. And I don't understand how you calling foul on something you've been saying that you wanted from the WWE.
Yeah, man. We are in complete agreement right here. I love the harshness. I love all that. If you don't like it, but you want the Attitude Era back. You want that grittiness, and you can't have both. You know, you got to go one way or the other. But yeah, I felt good about it. I liked it. I thought Dean Ambrose did some good work on that. So, did you want to impart
Yeah,
some
let's
more
go.
knowledge on these people, or you want to
Nah, I'm
continue on?
good. I'm good where I stand behind my words and I'm
I
good
like
on
that.
that.
I like
So
that.
let's go to the next thing.
Yeah, man. So, it's still, Rollins is backstage looking for Dean Ambrose. The next match that we have, apparently, it's a tag team match where we get Sasha Banks and Bailey versus Tamina Snuka and Nia Jax. Listeners, if you've been listening to the last few episodes of No Jobbers Allowed, you realize that I do not like Tamina. I think she's garbage. I think she needs to be in developmental. Hell, I think she should not have a job on this roster, and I don't ever wish for nobody to have a job, but I think, or to not have a job. I think she's boring. I thought this match was boring. This ended up with Nia Jax getting the big Samoan drop on Bailey for the pin, 1, 2, 3. So the face breaker win. What's your take on this, Big Ish?
My thing is this, dog. What are we doing with him? Because Nia is still on her singles push. So what are we really, really doing with Tamina right now? Is she just the bodyguard? Because are they setting up something where they're going to surprise us with dropping tag titles in the women division finally? What are y'all doing with Tamina? Because if you do nothing, if there's no payoff for having Tamina, I'm very upset at WWE for using Ember Moon, get Tamina back to hotness very quick. If you have no payoff for Tamina, you need to apologize publicly to Ember Moon for what y'all did to her, because she was on a rocket ready to rise, and I thought they was pushing her. But the match itself, listeners, I thought it was an okay match because you got Sasha and Bailey, two of my favorite competitors, men or women, and they were doing a good job making themselves look like a legitimate competitors to these two dominant women in the ring. And they made it look like they could really beat these two women. So the match was good. I just don't know what the payoff is for it because Nia is still on a singles push. So why are we even playing with Tamina right now? But
Yeah,
that's
I
my
don't get
thoughts
it.
about it.
I don't get it. And my thing is, if Nia Jax is bigger than Tamina is, so why is Tamina Nia Jax's bodyguard? Like that
I
does
don't
not
get it,
make any
bro.
sense to me. It just, maybe they're just trying to look tough, but I think Nia Jax can look tough on her own, and she does not need Tamina to back her up. But we can just move on from this one because I have
Yeah.
nothing good to say. Nothing good to say about this. What are you guys doing with this? So we get some more of the backstage hide and seek game between Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. He's still trying to find him. Rollins is pretty frustrated. Then we get another backstage segment where the authors of pain are in the back with the general manager Drake Maverick. They're all making fun of him. Again, that's one thing I didn't like. As far as they're like making fun of him and they still won the match, like
Yeah,
I,
but he pissed himself, bro.
I get it, but it's kind of making light of the tag team champions, and I'm just not a huge fan of this whole thing where they got Gable and Bobby Roode mocking them. Not huge for me.
All right,
It's neither here nor there.
all right. So here how I take it. Yeah, they mocking him, but remember they're mocking Drew Maverick, not A-O-P. Not, A-O-Pee-Pee. The crowd had me cracking up during the match. But
See,
here,
okay, yeah,
here's the
keep going.
angle. That's what I'm saying. Here's the angle. Follow me all the way through it.
Uh-huh.
I believe A-O-P is going to turn on Drew Maverick. Drew is making them look like a joke now. When you got the crowd chanting A-O-P-P to your
Okay.
tag champions who just beat the SmackDown champions, something has to change and it has to be a drastic change. Why they did it in this way, I don't know. But I see the angle playing out where the A-O-P turn on Drew Maverick beat them down, and just go without a manager.
We'll see, but I'm a little bit better sold than that. So I can rock with that. We'll get to that because they have a match a little bit later, but I won't spoil that. Then we get a match between the Lucha House Party versus the Revival. Man, they need to put the Revival back in NXT, man.
Explain why they need to. Because it's not because they need to go back to developmental, but NXT was the only one who knew what to do with the Revival.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was going to say. They were so good in NXT, and they just don't have anything going for them on the main roster right now. It's just like all they're doing is filler matches. And they should be going for the tag team titles, honestly. And we just got this team of the Lucha House Party all of a sudden beating them, which at the same time, I know that they're not really building anything. This match wasn't meant to be an angle advancing anything, but I think that the Revival deserve better, dog. Just how I feel.
When the last time you seen cruiserweights and luchadors on the main show? I'm actually asking because I don't remember, because it's been a minute since I was consistently watching Raw. But when I started back up this year, I haven't seen it.
No, I mean, they used to have the guys from 205 Live. They always had a 205 Live match on Raw every week.
Okay.
So they were showcased. This is when Enzo Amore was the champion. They would actually showcase the 205 Live guys because they were trying to get an audience to follow 205 Live. You get me?
Mm-hmm. Give you something to wet your whistle with so you can go watch it.
So, yeah, they had them there, and, it looks like it was really kind of like filler with this, like this match was. But right now, this is not... They're not being showcased as cruiserweight wrestlers. These guys are being showcased as tag team competitors.
Okay. All I got to say about it is I think WWE really just wanted to bring up some luchadors that can bring a little bit of fun and excitement to the tag team. So what I think is you had too many tag teams that are maybe too fun on Raw. So now you need to move all that. You need to consolidate the fun to one team so the rest of the teams can have tougher personas and characters. You see what I'm saying? If you consolidate that fun to one team, that leaves you the ability to change your characters and angles on the other teams. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I can't be mad at it.
I still like Lucha House Party because I watch 205, and they have good matches on 205. So
that makes sense. I just want them to do something better with the Revival. They're too good. Listeners, if you haven't watched some of their NXT stuff, go back about a year and a half. They had some good stuff going on down there. Yeah, we've been blowing that for a little bit.
I always hear the same thing though about Revival, that they were hell of a team in NXT. And once again, we talked about it the other day on the other show about how NXT talent get brought up to the main rosters, and it's like WWE immediately forgets how to book them. So, but that was that match. Let's go on because we keep going on tangents. So,
truth, man, truth. We got a lot to talk about. The show wasn't that good, so I guess our banter back and forth is making it a little bit more interesting than it really was. We need to get some more backstage stuff with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. That pretty much goes on for the rest of the show. But we get Ronda Rousey, man. Ronda Rousey comes out. She hits a promo. I thought she was spitting some fire, man. Ronda, again, I thought she had a really, really good match on Sunday. And Ronda goes around. She's talking about being a true champion. Then she wants to challenge her because she wants to defend her title. Baron Corbin comes out. They let it go. Eventually, they get her somebody to face for the women's title. She beats Mickie James in about 2 minutes in a quick squash match. I like what Ronda has going on. I'm a huge fan of how quickly she's evolved and all this stuff. What do you think about all this?
I thought the same thing as you, man. I really enjoyed the Ronda match. Once again, shout out to Mickie James to be doing it as long as she has done it and different companies as well, and coming back to the WWE about 2 years ago. I
Hmm.
really respect her because what she's doing, man, is she helping put young talent over. She's doing the things that you want to see out of your elder statesmen, your wrestling community that are legends. She's a future Hall of Famer. Like, so it's really good to get Ronda in the ring with that experience, and also Mickey James being so gracious enough to put Ronda over. And it was a decent squash match as it was. It was a decent match because of Mickey James. She know how to work with people, and she gonna get you to where you need to be. So you just got to let her work with you. And I think Ronda did that. Her mic work was better. I really enjoyed it. I don't know, for some reason I'm still not liking the way I don't think everyone's personalities are coming out the way they're supposed to because of what's being written for them.
I agree.
While Rhonda is doing what she can with what she has, I think everyone would benefit from better writers, man.
I
Like,
agree.
writers that actually take into consideration these wrestlers' actual personas and characters, and be a little bit more mindful of what your character persona is. And if they do that, I will no longer have any type of critiques of them. But
Yeah.
right now, the promos are just good in theory, bad in execution because it doesn't always match up well with the person cutting the promo.
Who's delivering it? Yeah, and I forgot to mention that at the end of this match, we get an appearance from Nia Jax and Tamina at the top of the ramp. They walk out. They stare at Ronda real quick. She is looking at her hand. The whole face breaker thing. They walk out. They stare her down, and then they just walk right to the back. They didn't do anything to her. They just
Once
walk out there.
again, why are you doing this when Nia is still on her singles push? What is Tamina here for?
I don't even want to waste any more time on Tamina this show. I have no words for this.
All right, let's go
All
on. Let's hit the
right.
next one.
So then next we get the Authors of Pain, the tag team champions versus Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. A-O-P are mad. They're out to get revenge for Gable and Roode making fun of their guy. Like you so alluded to earlier in the episode, the crowd gets a A-O-Pee-Pee chant going.
A-O-Pee-Pee. It was just so stupid.
So
Like,
dumb.
why would WWE want that? But I guess, man, whatever reaction is good reaction, I guess, nowadays.
So this match ends with Chad Gable getting a surprise roll up on one of the Authors of Pain. So now Chad Gable and Bobby Roode have a pin over the tag team champions. Hopefully this amounts to a solid feud where they actually get to go back and forth and they don't have to worry about PPing or any of that stuff. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of non-title matches because if I can beat the champion, I should get the belt. Am I right or am I wrong?
I mean, once again, man, you got to know, not just about beating them, man. You got to know how to time it just right, man.
Like, well, if I pin you, you lose. That belt should be mine.
No, was it a title match?
That belt should be mine. I've already.
Was it a title match? If it's not a
beat you.
title match, then it don't count.
I got you. I feel you, but I didn't mind it. I just don't like the PP thing as much as I kind of enjoyed it on Survivor Series. I just don't like these big guys looking like chumps.
You can't keep having title exchanges. Like, I mean, you could, but that would mean no one's better than anyone else.
I know. This is why A-O-P should have squashed them. There's no reason that they should have lost this.
Like I said, you got to cut out PP Man.
Yeah, I digress. I digress. You are 100% correct. If that booking actually takes place and they turn on PP, that might be a good thing.
That's what I'm saying. That's at least what I think is going to happen. I truly believe that what's going to happen is they start using this as bad reputation for A-O-P. Therefore, the A-O-P needs to make a change, and that change is going to be getting rid of Drew Maverick.
All right, I'm down with that, Ish. I'm down with that a lot. So then we get another backstage segment from Dean Ambrose. We get another backstage segment also where Seth Rollins is saying he's leaving because he can't find Dean Ambrose, blase, all that stuff. He says he'll meet him at TLC. Then we finally get a match between Natalya and one of Big Ish's favorites, Ruby Riott.
Ruby Riott, baby, you know what it is. Riott Squad all day. Bang, bang, Riott Squad gang. Let's go.
Dude, man, this match is actually decent, man. I actually like Natalya again. She's, like you alluded to, she's not moving like she used to. But Ruby Riott, it got to showcase some of the stuff that she's good with. She's a really good worker. I really like her. She's going to be that standout member of the Riott Squad. Next is Liv Morgan. I'm not really sure about the other one.
And the other one, quit disrespecting Sarah Logan, dog.
Thank you. But it was a really good match. Thank you, my man.
Sarah Logan, man.
Sarah Logan. I apologize. I will put some respect on Sarah's name. This ends with Natalya rolling up Ruby Riott for the pin, which was, I thought it was good for what it was. Natalya got her win back after them snapping her glasses. What'd you think of it, Ish?
I thought it was really good. Anytime I see Ruby Riott in the ring, I love her. Other thing I thought about it was Talia, I have said, isn't moving like she used to, but once again, she's still great. Mm-hmm. So having a match between her and Ruby was really good, and it proved like, hey, you giving women a chance, you can make interesting matches. Because like you just said, you didn't even care or like the A-O-P match, and they tag champions, but you enjoyed a non-title women's match with Ruby and Natalya. So that just shows to prove that these women do have a lot to offer in this ring, and sometimes they can, and most times they steal the show.
Yeah. I agree. I liked it a lot. They can keep on showcasing women's wrestling like this, and I'll watch it every single time if it's this good. And then to end the show, Dean Ambrose comes out and he cuts a promo on the crowd and on Seth Rollins. He cuts what I would like to state is a rather generic cookie cutter WWE heel promo, talking about how the crowd smells and they stink, and he doesn't like the LA crowd. Which it makes me sad because it turned Ambrose from a possibly compelling, frustrated with anger, mad at Seth Rollins heel to just taking cheap shots at the crowd like every other heel. So it kind of took a little bit of that heel shine off Dean Ambrose for me. But I'm still excited for what he's got going on. Surprise, surprise! Seth Rollins comes back. They brawl a little bit. Dean Ambrose hit Seth Rollins with what all of WWE's heels have been doing with the kick in the nuts.
Just an old school low blow like China used to do.
Dude hits him with a low blow, hits him in the nuts. He dirty deeds Rollins twice. They end the show with Dean Ambrose standing over Seth Rollins. Did a little bit to further their feud. I don't like the way they're making him more of a generic heel. I wish they could have given him a little bit more of an edge like he had before. But either way, I'm still happy for it. What was your takeaway on this final segment of Raw?
It was kind of down for me only because at the beginning of the show or during Seth's first promo, Dean had a very, very good promo.
Yep.
So how did you go from that to what you gave us? Now, I thought the you stink part, like, what does that smell? I thought that was pretty funny, and it added a little bit. But like I said, I didn't get how you go from a really good promo to a 50-50 promo, a real even promo. And that's what's been killing me about the writing is you have characters that should have good promos. All the things that Seth and Dean have between each other, there's more than enough ammo to make some good promos. And I don't know why, but I thought the ending little skirmish was good, and I'm just laughing my ass off at these low blows, man. They really bring it back to low blow everywhere in WWE, man.
Dude, WWE is all knees and low blows. Everybody
Dog,
knee,
knees.
low blow.
knees from Saturday on, from NXT all the way through the main shows, man. Nothing but knees all day.
Knee.
So who knows, man? But that was the end of Raw, ladies and gentlemen. For the week, I give it about a C plus. It was better than Survivor Series for me.
Yeah,
so
I'm in there. I'm in the C range also. C plus minus either way, all the same to me. With that being said, listeners, please like, subscribe, follow us on Twitter at Podcast NJA. I've got nothing else for him. What you got for him, Big Ish?
you know what it is. I ain't got nothing else for them. But like always, it's been your boys. No jobbers allowed. And I'm Big Ish. And with me, like always, was.
It is your guy, Irwin, man. And we out.
We out. Listen to this music.